Good morning. It's Sean Shapiro from the Toronto Police Service, and I'm coming to you. Well, it's live. That's what this is. It's streaming, you know. I'm really here. This is Ask a Traffic Cop, and it's a special extra large edition. It's because we're going live with Jerry Agar for the first 30 minutes. That's on NewsTalk 1010, answering his callers' questions. And we are also going to be having a very special guest in the second half of the show after 10 o'clock. And may the 4th be with you, because today is Star Wars Day, so happy Star Wars Day. Let's see what's going on. If we are hearing from News Talk, we're just going to check in quickly.
Closing date is booked.
Looks like they're in commercial break, so when they are ready, they're going to give us a countdown to give us a little notice, and we'll be good to go. So if you've got questions, use the Q&A function. That's how I see them. If you're in the chat, love you, but I probably won't see anything that you say. You have to use the Q&A section for me to see it. Otherwise, it's going to be moderators. Who are the moderators? They are volunteers. They are not paid members. They are volunteers from the community, just like you, out there on TikTok, who want to help us keep this a safe place, a safe space. Yeah, may the 4th be with you. Okay, what else can I tell you? Aaron Urquhart, PC Aaron, PC. I keep promoting you. I think it's a sign. We're going to get recruiting after you. But PEO Aaron Urquhart, who is also known as TPS Bikehart, _Bikehart. Is underscore, do you say underscore when you're being referred to?
Yes, I usually say TPS _Bikehart.
But the underscore is an awkward nickname.
I know. Or just TPS Bikehart.
Yes, TPS Bikehart. There you go. But there's an underscore there. And you should follow her on TikTok. But she's going to be jumping on with Jerry, and we're going to tackle some parking questions too. So it's really cool. All right, let's see what's going on. And we have Asif, who's another PC, who's in the room. He's listening to us. He's absorbing, but he's not active in there. 2 minutes away. 2 minutes before we join News Talk 1010 and Jerry and the gang. So let's see what's going on. I'm gonna see if we have anything we can get up. Oh, 71010. Is it star 71010 or just 71010? Anyway, it looks like 71010 is what you text in order to text the show. Now, obviously, you have a front row seat. But if you want Jerry to ask your question, that's the way you got to get it going. It's 71010 or by text, or 1-877-518-5151. That is to call in and talk to the magical producers over at News Talk 1010 and get your question read aloud instead of just being read on the Q&A. But you know what? It's cool. It's cool to be on the radio. Let's see here. Don't know what this is. How long? Okay, we got questions from Aurora Moonchild. Nora Moonchild, my bad. I'm going to change my reading glasses so I can... Hey, zoom! Ha, look at that. Everything's bigger. Who'd have thunk? Do cop cars have tint meters? Okay, we'll get to that. This is good stuff. 60-60. Which is 60-60? 2 minutes, 60-60. Is that 2 minutes, 60-60? Got it. Things are loading. Oh, those are other invites. Okay, cool. So we are going for an hour and a half. And for the folks that are just jumping in, 364 of you, if you don't already follow us, you should. We do this Monday to Friday from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. You may notice that it's not yet 10 a.m. That's because we do an extra large episode every other week with Jerry Agar on News Talk 1010. I really need a News Talk 1010 background to use this. 1 minute. We're counting down. Let's see here. Stand by. Nick wants to know if you should make the font bigger, but I got my zoom lenses on, so we're good to go. Let's see what's going on. Okay, we got radio silence from News Talk, so we've got him on.
All right, stand by. You guys all set to go?
We're set to go, and we have Aaron, who's not nervous at all.
Aaron, you're okay. It's all right. We understand this is new for you, but it's all right. It's just like having a casual conversation with 300,000 people listening. You'll be great.
Oh, happy to be here.
I'm sorry. Did I say 300? I'm sorry. I didn't mean to lie to a cop. 350.
350.
Here we come.
We're back to the Jerry Agar Show on the iHeartRadio Talk Network.
Always one of our favorites, spending time with the TikTok traffic cop, Sean Shapiro, traffic safety programs, traffic operations. He's on TikTok on the regular, talking to you about traffic issues at Traffic Services on TikTok, and joins us from time to time. Sean, good morning.
Good morning, and I'm not alone today.
Yeah, I know. Introduce your guest.
This is Erin Urquhart. She's a parking enforcement officer with Toronto, another media relations officer, and she's sitting right here in the studio with me.
Good morning. Hello.
Hi, can I call you the TikTok parking cop?
Absolutely. Even though I'm not a cop, but I'll take a parking cop.
Okay. All right. So actually, I'm going to jump to our first question, Aaron. This is, I think, going to be for you. Coincidentally, John Moore and I came up with similar questions. Yesterday, part A of this, Aaron, is I was driving on wherever I was driving, doesn't matter. There was construction going on, Adelaide, and there was construction going on, which caused enough trouble. And then traffic, I realized once I got up there, was all snarled and backed up because one of the live lanes was taken up by a postal truck that was parked there with no postal worker to be found. I thought, do they have some special dispensation? And then the question, part B, from John is, he sees vehicles with a sign that says, on delivery. So what's the legality of all of that?
So actually, Canada Post is not exempt from parking bylaws. They're like any other delivery driver in the city of Toronto. They have certain exemptions, but on Adelaide, that's absolutely not. I ticket Canada Post on Adelaide all the time, and I actually have a good idea of where that is because I ride Adelaide quite often. But so for Canada Post, any corporate courier company like UPS, FedEx, or just anyone in their personal vehicle on delivery, like an Uber Eats or food delivery cars, they have a list of exemptions in the city of Toronto, which include on side streets and on, green peed metered areas. And this is also what I talk about a lot on my TikTok because lots of people ask about it. So if you have a sign saying on delivery, you can be parked on a side street, not an arterial road such as Adelaide or Richmond, Yonge Street. The list goes on. But again, it's only in the green peed metered on-street areas or in a no parking zone on a side street. So those are the only exemptions really for delivery drivers if they're not in their respective delivery loading zones.
I would guess here, either one of you can answer this, post office doesn't care. They just park the truck where they want to park it and they get a ticket and they just pay it.
Essentially, it's like people say it's the cost of doing business. I don't know if Canada Post has some sort of deal with the city at the end of the year that they negotiate the fines. But yeah, it's been like this since I've been on the job. It's they park where they need to make their deliveries, and it doesn't matter if it's obstructing an entire road and causing gridlock. And that's why we actually had before COVID, we had a heavy tow initiative where we were towing vehicles. It didn't matter if it was Canada Post or FedEx, whichever.
Did you tow postal trucks?
We did. It was all over. It was all over social media. The couriers hated it, but it was the whole initiative was to get them to stop blocking up such roads so people could drive where they needed to within the city.
I don't think there's enough appreciation of the fact that parking enforcement is there to keep the city moving. The whole goal is to keep these delivery trucks out of the way so that everyone isn't impacted, because it ripples. It creates such interference with people getting to where they have to go.
All right. Now, lots of questions that keep coming in about, even though we've covered it from time to time, Sean, what counts as distracted driving and what doesn't? CB radio, Apple Watch, eating, changing the radio, using the phone in a self-driving vehicle?
You've covered a lot of those, and the majority of what you just said are. So Apple Watch, cell phone, a handheld communication device, a handheld entertainment device, or a screen visible to a driver are the three things that qualify for charges. When you talk about the Apple Watch, that's still a communication device. The argument's been made, well, it's strapped to my wrist. Well, if your focus is on it and you're dealing with it and you can send and receive messages and make phone calls, it's a handheld communication device. When you talk about the stereo and the interface of your car, that is not part of handheld communication device, and there's an exemption for it, or at least you can use it reasonably. But if it affects your ability to drive safely, that is going to turn into a careless driving charge. So although the charges are different, they're not completely under. You know what I'm saying? Some fall into specifically distracted driving, and others are still chargeable, but not under distracted driving. In some provinces, we're told that eating or drinking is against the law, specifically under distracted driving. That's not the case in Ontario. You can't have a sip of coffee, you can't have a sandwich, you can have a mint, a candy, or chocolate, whatever. But if it again interferes with your ability to drive safely, it could be careless driving.
416-872-1010 to talk to Sean from Traffic Services or Aaron from Parking Enforcement. 416-872-1010. 877-518-5151 outside Toronto, toll free. 877-518-5151. You can text us at 71010. In the next segment, we're going to take up a series of angry texts from somebody who's just so angry at Sean and cops in general. But right now, here's Greg from Ajax. Greg, what's your question?
Say for some reason your right leg and foot are incapacitated, say in a cast, or you even sprain your ankle and it hurts. Is it legal to use your left foot to operate the gas and brake pedals?
It's not illegal, assuming it's not unsafe or that you're able to do it safely. There are people who have one leg and it's not their right leg. So, yeah, they're legally able to drive. There's no specific provision saying you can't do it, as long as it can be done safely.
You know, somebody just wrote in, this is curious, saying, my wife got a ticket in the HOV lane, which is for two people. She pointed out, well, I have the baby. Said the baby doesn't count.
I'd argue that. Human beings count. They don't have to be voting age or a certain thing. I think that may have been an error. It's certainly something that I would want to talk to somebody about, possibly file in a court to fight that ticket because, yeah, humans count, even if they're babies.
All right. And Mark from London, and he's addressing this distracted driving. Can you drive with a pet on your lap?
That's a great question. I think we have talked about this before, but it's good anyway. No, you cannot drive with a pet on your lap. It is careless driving, or at very least, drive while crowded. It's dangerous. It's unsafe for you. It's unsafe for the animal. But you're not focused on the drive. If you're sitting there petting your puppy, it's a problem. That's a lot of peas.
Okay. And just to be clear, to tie the topics together, the dog doesn't count in the HOV number?
Yeah, fur babies not included.
Human babies, not fur babies.
That's right.
William from Hamilton. What's your question, William?
Hey, guys. So I have a question. Four-way stop, or it's an intersection. Either it's a two-way stop or a four-way stop, and a bus is on the opposite, is on a corner to me, okay? So it's on the left side, and I want to turn right. The bus has engaged its lights. The kids are on the corner. They're getting on. Obviously, it's safe. I can make a right-hand turn, or I can go straight and intersect with the bus, but not actually drive past it. Am I okay?
So just, I'm glad you brought it up and said kids, because I was questioning what kind of bus we were talking about. School buses, if they have their flashing overhead lights and they have their stop sign out, you cannot pass them. You have to be within or stop beyond 20 meters, I believe, is the measurement, away from them. So if you're at the intersection, you want to make a right turn, and you're not passing them, and you're not within 20 meters, you can do that, but you can't pass them, whether it be oncoming or from behind. I wouldn't be in a rush to get onto the other side of the road to then stop, because that would obviously be unsafe. But I don't know measurements, and there's a lot of variables here. But generally speaking, just wait until they're done.
Yeah, no, and that's fine. Yeah, it's one of those things where like the school bus pulls up, and the kids are slowly getting on there, and if you turn right, you'll be in front of the bus, type of thing. I was just curious as to if
I see what you're saying. So let me just to go back. If you're making the right turn and then you would be in front, I would wait to make your turn. If you were not intersecting with them or not getting closer to them, the problem is, kids do these amazing things. They're kind of unpredictable, and they assume that traffic is going to stop in all directions when that stop is out, even if they're inaccurate. So the best thing to do is hold your own if you can wait until the bus moves on.
Aaron, somebody just wrote in, what's the difference between parking and standing?
Sorry, excuse me. So the difference between parking and standing, no standing is meant for you to just simply pull up, pick up, or drop off a passenger. You're not supposed to wait there to pick someone up. And no parking is essentially when you are put your car into park, and you can park, you can't park there, but there are certain exemptions for no parking, such as if you have an accessible permit. People who have an accessible permit can park in no parking zones. But no standing is just a brief pick up and drop off.
I want to follow up with you on that in a moment, and Sean will answer an angry listener on the iHeartRadio Talk Network.
See you in a few.
It's 9:45. News Talk 1010 time.
We're going to put them in the background and wait for Nick to give us the 60-second countdown. That the bus driver question. As I'm drawing this, because of course I'm trying to piece this together as the gentleman was giving us his info, but about the bus. If you're going to make a right turn and there's a bus there with the lights flashing, don't make the turn. You wait, because that's going to be coming into that path of where the children may be moving. Sometimes, even if laws aren't specifically outlined, there's things that are just safe or not safe. We like to keep people in the safe zone. Even if you could possibly go within the safe parameters, it's not worth it, because it causes confusion. People get spooked, and it's a serious deal. We're talking about the world's most vulnerable road users, our kids, the most important people in the world. I say that because I'm a parent and I love my children. Let's have a look here. Ryan Pinn, I missed your ahoy earlier, but good morning. Ryan's a driving instructor from Nova Scotia who pops in on the regular. So thanks for the hello, the ahoy. Hey, what's up, Doc? From Brandon, Looney Tunes fan 2000. You should check out his YouTube channel, because I think you do the impressions, right? That's what if I'm remembering correctly. Rob Baker with a good morning. Ryan Pinn says, can transport trucks block whole lanes to make deliveries to restaurants? When they're making deliveries, they do, don't they? They block lanes.
Yes.
Because, and if they're on a side street, not a major artery, they can do it legally for a period of time.
10 minutes.
That's a lot of unpacking, or a little unpacking. It's a little time for a lot of unpacking.
Yeah, I guess so. But you get 10 minutes.
Lou Demi wants to know how. It's a question for Aaron. He says, how far away from the curb can you be before you get a ticket?
Good question. 30 centimeters is so if you're more than 30 centimeters to the curb, you can actually get automatically ticketed, or obviously ticketed and towed, because you're essentially blocking the road in that point.
Here's a question that says from, is it Nashdi says, if someone jumped in front of my car, do I get jail? So you're suggesting that you're driving along, minding your own business, you're legally, not speeding, not nothing, and someone jumped in front of your car, and I'm assuming at that point you hit them. If they jumped in front of your car and you did nothing wrong, without knowing anything else about the situation, I would say you shouldn't be going to jail, or potentially you shouldn't be charged. In fact, I've charged pedestrians who have walked out in front of cars and been hit because they weren't doing it lawfully. There was no way for a car to avoid them. It was an unplanned event, at least from the perspective of the driver. They didn't aim for them. They weren't speeding or doing anything wrong. But someone either decided to or wasn't paying attention and walked out right in front of the car and got smoked. So, you should not. But there could be more to the conversation, so I don't want to give you an explicit, you are not going to jail, because maybe there were things that were going to hurt you in that. Let's see here. Okay. I want to come back to this one after, because pin 3, Apple 812 has a question about rights and what are the rights when getting pulled over. So I want to come back to that, because that's a great conversation, but we don't have time to cover it all before we're joined back with Jerry in a moment. So putting a pin in it, Apple. It's perfect, your username. So anyway, fines for many people. Oh, what is this? Fines for many people only having a G2. G2 is okay to drive with alone, so I'm not sure what your question is, although I read it. I thought there was more of a question there. Please rephrase it, Brayden. If there is a question there, I would love to answer it. What is this? Can I go incoming if I have to back my semi? I don't know. Oh, you're talking about a private driveway? Can you go into the incoming lane of a private drive? Like if it says in out, that's private property. That's they've obviously constructed things with to give direction to people entering the property. It's not something enforceable. Okay, let's see. Oh, here's a good question that I don't know if anyone can answer. Ryan Pinn wants to know, how many parking enforcement officers are in the city of Toronto? Aaron's eyes went wide.
I'll have to get back to you on that one.
I don't know.
I'm going to say at least over 500, maybe, something like that.
Now, at one point, Court Services was the largest unit with over 600 officers, and we were the largest, so that would make sense if it was just under, because they got to be close. What laws surround GoPros on motorcycle helmets? Here's the deal. It's not GoPro specifically. It is anything affixed to your helmet. If you modify the shell of the helmet, you turn it into an improper helmet. It's no longer considered safe. It's no longer as the manufacturer intended it to be, and it's untested in that condition. So anything that would make your helmet catch or snag on the road, it's designed to be a smooth, hard surface that glides across the road. So picture this, you instead of sliding, you now stop and things happen like necks breaking. That's a bad idea. So it's an improper helmet. You could get a ticket for having a GoPro mounted to your helmet. Ryan Pinn says that you've got more parking enforcement officers here than where he is in Nova Scotia. He thinks
Jerry
they have 2.
Agar on the iHeartRadio Talk Network.
Hey guys, here we come.
Once again, we're spending some time with the TikTok traffic cop, Sean Shapiro from Traffic Safety Programs. And Sean, why don't you once again introduce your guest?
With me is Aaron Urquhart. She's a parking enforcement officer with us, and also on TikTok.
All right. Now, Aaron, I want to follow up with you. We were running out of time there a moment ago and you touched on it a bit. I was going to ask you, if someone has a handicap parking permit, can they park pretty much anywhere they want?
So no, they can't park anywhere. It's not the golden ticket to just dump your car anywhere in the city. But there are a list of exemptions. So you do not have to pay for parking on street in the green PED metered areas. You can park, like I said earlier, in just the general no parking zone. So just the P with the slash through it. When you see a sign that says, free parking for 1 hour, people with an accessible permit, they have a 24-hour limit. So they're not restricted to the time limit. So those are essentially the staple exemptions that they have.
But no parking and no standing and no stopping zones are still enforceable.
Yes, absolutely. So yes, they cannot park their car in no stopping or no standing with those permits, which a lot of people think that they can.
All right, thanks, Aaron. Now, Sean,
Yes.
you have really ticked somebody off.
I do that on occasion.
Yeah, well, I'm going to read 3 of the texts this serial texter has sent in, angry with you, and I'm going to verbally emphasize the words that are in capital letters just to get the point across, okay? So I got to read 3 of them here. Number 1, a cop needs to have a lawful reason to exceed the speed limit and can't just cruise 140 kilometers an hour because they feel entitled. Fact. Number 2, you're suggesting cops can drive at any speed they wish, regardless of need or purpose. That is untrue, period. Fact. Number 3, wrong, buddy. A cop exceeding the speed limit must have a lawful reason for doing so. In other words, just cruising along the 401 at 140 is not okay. Over to you, Sean.
Well, I got to tell you, he's not completely incorrect. And he may have taken some things out of context because we talk about the fact that police, fire, and ambulance are legally permitted. They're exempt from exceeding the speed limit under the Highway Traffic Act. They're legally the only people who can exceed the speed limit. But it has to be for a lawful purpose. Now, when it comes to fire and ambulance, they have to be going to an active call. And what really annoys people when we talk about police is we're not bound to that call situation. There's many situations when police officers can exceed the speed limit that aren't going to an emergency. For instance, if I'm looking for people who are offending on the highway or the road, they're using their cell phones. Well, if I can only do the speed limit and everyone's doing the speed limit, I'm only able to look at the same 5 cars for the next 400 meters or 400 miles. So I'm allowed to exceed the speed limit to look at new cars. And if I go slow, they see me coming, so it doesn't work in that direction. In any case, for a lawful purpose is a pretty wide scope, but it has to be lawful. If I'm running to buy a pizza because it's my lunchtime, or I want to go to the gym, or I want to go home, no, that's not a lawful reason to exceed the speed limit. And from that perspective, your caller is correct.
All right, here's Roger from Toronto.
Yeah, I was just wondering, you know how you used to have those single-ear mic headsets? Are those still allowed, or those are a no-no?
Those are absolutely allowed. In fact, in Ontario, you are not limited to only having a single ear. You can have both ears covered. Now, it's not the safest option, but it is lawful. Very often we see old people with older cars who have their Bluetooth headphones on because their stereos won't accept the inputs from their phone. So it is legal, not necessarily the safest option, though.
All right, David from Toronto, what's your question?
Hi, good morning. How are you today?
We're all doing well. Go ahead.
Excellent. I had posted a question to you on TikTok about when traffic is going 60 in a 40 zone. Now, is there a way to let police know about specific streets where traffic is always going faster than the limit?
Absolutely. Unfortunately, it's the majority of them, but you can put in a report on www.torontopolice.on.ca/core, CORE. On there are 2 different pages that you can go to generate a report. One about specific vehicles that you witness doing things that are unsafe or unlawful, and one for community complaints. So if you are at Yonge and Steeles, and that's this place that no one does or everyone does something illegal, you can put in a report. It actually gets created and issued to the division that it occurred in for follow-up. So it's a legitimate police report.
Perfect. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you. Here is Paul from Etobicoke.
Yeah, good morning. My question is about making a U-turn from a left-hand turning lane at major intersections. I've noticed a lot of drivers doing this, and I've also witnessed them do it right in front of the police, and the police did nothing. When I was learning how to drive, it was illegal to make a U-turn in the middle of an intersection. Is it legal now?
So I think a lot of it is misconception. So you can make a U-turn in an intersection if turns are permitted, and as long as it's not signed otherwise, as long as it's safe to do so, and it's not in one of a number of prohibited areas. Like you can't do it where there's no view because of a crest of grade or a curve on the road, or it's in front of a bridge, viaduct, railway crossing, and things like that. But on a normal road, if it's not signed otherwise, a U-turn is lawful as long as it's safe to do so. Now, it is an unsafe maneuver, and if you cause a collision, you're 100% at fault. But it can be done. And intersections aren't exempt. In fact, we have signs at many intersections now promoting it, saying U-turns permitted, just to give people an understanding of where they can make turns.
Okay,
Thanks, Paul. I appreciate your call. Sean Shapiro, the TikTok traffic cop, is with us, but Erin Urquhart is here as well. She's a parking. Well, you said I could call you the TikTok parking cop.
That's right.
All right. So I'll ask a question that's somewhat similar to what I ask Sean from time to time, which is this. Do the parking cops have a quota?
So, like any job, we have a performance standard, but we go out
Well, that's
there.
what you call it.
A performance standard, but they're like at the end of the day, we go out there and we ticket what we can find. If we don't make the performance standard, it's not the end of the world. It's just what's out there, and things have really changed since COVID as well. But now that the city is getting back to normal, we'll see what's going to happen with that.
So is that a goal?
Essentially, yeah. It's over a span of 5 weeks that you're supposed to average the performance standard.
All right, question for you, actually, from TikTok or from the text board here, Aaron. Why is there a lack of enforcement or no stopping zones during the rush hour?
So again, since the pandemic, parking enforcement stopped enforcing rush hour unless it was, very vital in terms of gridlock. But it's also a back and forth with the City of Toronto because the city has incorporated programs such as Cafe TO, Active TO. So it's just working together to figure out how we're going to implement enforcing rush hour again. But you can always call and request for a rush hour to be enforced, and we will provide service.
Question here from a motorcycle rider, Sean, which you and I both are. What do you do if your bike doesn't have enough heft to set off the sensor and change the green light? Can you turn on the red light if nobody's around?
Well, turning on the red light, as long as you're making the right turn, because that would be legal. You can't make a left turn across a signal. I'm sure that many people do, assuming that no one's around, but it's not lawful to do that. I can't tell you that's safe to do or lawful. My suggestion would be either get off your bike, go press the button and activate the crossing sequence, or make the legal right turn and make a lawful U-turn, assuming it's safe to do so.
Yeah, that's what I do. Or here's the other thing I do, because when I leave at 5 o'clock in the morning, there's a place where I can't count on car traffic to show up and flip the light for me. So I drive through the gas station where I normally buy all my gas and out onto the road, and away I go.
Now, there's as long as they don't have a problem with it, because some gas stations will put no trespassing, no cut-through signs. At that point, you would be trespassing. If you're doing it safely, most of them don't care. I will say this. Many people add rare earth magnets to the bottom set of their vehicle, of their motorcycle, to try and trip the sensors. It is a magnetic field that you're interrupting, so sometimes that will help, but your mileage may vary.
I liked Rare Earth. I had some of their albums. Okay, Sean Shapiro, the TikTok traffic cop and parking enforcement officer, Aaron Ricard. Aaron, I hope you come back.
I would love to come back. Thanks for having me.
And you can also get her at Parking TPS on TikTok and all the platforms, as well as TPS _ bike cart.
That's right.
Okay.
Thanks very much. This is
Thank
the
you.
iHeartRadio
Thank you.
Network.
Okay. That was fun. Okay, we'll take them off the board. Bye, Nick. We said bye, but we just kicked them off, really. Let's open up and turn on the Instagram because they want to get into the party. Give us a moment to regroup. Here we go.
I'll be back.
You'll be back. Okay, do your thing. Going live here. They're checking connections and making sure we're live. Hey, welcome to the party, Instagram. If you're just tuning in, which you are because I just turned on the live stream, you will notice that we are here but weren't earlier. And the reason why is we were on the radio with News Talk 1010. We were on the Jerry Agar Show. And that's what happened. Okay, let's get into things. I got a bunch of things on the Q&A, and I want to address them. Let's see here. What happens if my e-bike goes over 32 kilometers an hour? Great way to start the show, at least the second half of the show. Is it a third half of the show, a third part of the show? I don't know. If it's 30 minutes each segment, I don't know. We're going to have to come up with names for this stuff. The answer to your query is if it goes over 32 kilometers an hour, it is no longer an e-bike. It's not covered by the legislation that allows it to operate as a bicycle. And it now is considered a low power or at very least, a motorcycle or at very least a low power motorcycle. It requires you to have a motorcycle license to operate it. It needs to be insured and it needs to be registered with the license plate. Now that is also not possible because that is a vehicle that hasn't been approved by Transport Canada. So your vehicle is instantly unlawful to be used on the road. You can't have it anymore. You can use it on private property only. Now, if you put the limiter back on or the governor, and if it never had one, I don't know how it got sold here, but make sure it's governed to not exceed 32 kilometers an hour. At that point, it magically converts back into an e-bike. But if you are caught going over 32 kilometers an hour, bad things happen. The fines for driving driving a motor vehicle without insurance come with fines of $5,000 to $25,000 and up to 6 months in jail. And that would apply to you on an e-bike that goes more than 32 kilometers an hour. The unpopular answers, I love those the most, but it is what it is. Okay. Are there any TPS youth ride-along programs? Good question. Ride-alongs haven't happened really since the pandemic began, and I don't know what the story is. I don't know if it's come back into the fold yet. So what I would suggest, if you are a co-op student and interested in policing, then, or if you're a college student interested, I would contact our recruiting department and talk to them. They may be able to organize something for you, but it's going to be on a case-by-case basis, and I don't know if it'll happen at all, truthfully, but it's worth asking the question. Okay. Let's see if we can find some questions for Aaron in case there's some that are stacked up here. Boom, boom. Do military personnel need to show civil license if pulled over in a D&D vehicle? No. Noah makes a really good question, and the answer is, in a military vehicle, a D&D license is the sufficient license to operate that vehicle. You're covered under different rules, and you may have a civil license, but that's not the license that you are required to provide when you're being pulled over in that particular vehicle. Yes, because many of the drivers in the military don't even have a provincial license, although they do have to uphold and follow the local laws. I actually speak to military members of the military on a regular basis. Actually, I shouldn't say. Well, it was 4 times. You even that out. That's somewhat regular. We hope.
I have a family member who's military, so my brother.
Right on.
Yeah, so I talk to them all the time.
What section of the military is he in?
He is a geomatic engineer, but he used to
talked about this before.
Yeah, he used to be in the infantry though, and served in Afghanistan. But anyways, back to traffic stuff.
Well, I have been speaking to the fine folks at the battle school who do the driving programs, and I've had the exposure and the ability to sit in. I haven't driven any, but I've sat in some pretty awesome, cool green vehicles.
Oh yeah.
Some of them were less cool than others, I will say that. But the vast majority of them, I have some videos actually. The G-Wagon was really awesome. Mind you, it was Brandon who jumped around in that. And I got into one truck that was just enormous. It's one of these vehicles that can transport a multitude of different payloads, from mobile bases to I guess other products and things, but really cool.
That is cool. I haven't even done that stuff, and my mom.
Well, we should bring you out when we go next time.
Let's go.
Okay. Do we still get stickers for our cars? The answer is no. You do not get stickers. You do have to renew online, though. You are required to renew to be up to date. Okay. Here is the what are my rights when getting pulled over question that we were talking about before, and thank you for hanging out with us, Apple. Let's get into this. So if you're pulled over, okay, before we do there, let's just ask a favor. Could you hit that screen while I'm answering this? Just tap that screen feverishly until your fingers go numb. If you're on Instagram or if you're on TikTok, that'll help the algorithm bring us in some more people to the party, because when we go on with Jerry, sometimes people don't like to wait till the show's ready. So we want to let them know that we're ready to talk again. And if you're on any other platform, please share us, please retweet us. And if you're watching on YouTube, Twitch, LinkedIn, or Facebook, just answer or ask questions in the chat. We'll get to you. If you are on Twitter, I'm sorry, you may have been sending us messages. We are not seeing them because the interface is broken, but please jump over to YouTube, Twitch, or one of the other platforms so you can get your questions answered. Okay, here we are going with Apple's question. What are my rights when getting pulled over? So we can pull over a motor vehicle without any violation under the Highway Traffic Act. So we can pull you over even though if you weren't speeding, you didn't make an illegal turn, you didn't break any rules. And the reasons we can pull you over are the same for everybody. We can pull you over to make sure you're a licensed driver. We can make sure that you are an insured vehicle, that you've got insurance on the vehicle that's active, and to ensure that you're not over the blood alcohol content, to ensure that you are sober, check your sobriety. Those are the 3 things that we can check just because. Now, if we see something wrong with your vehicle, if there's obvious defects, we're going to pull you over to investigate the defect, but that falls into a violation category. You got a problem. Now, if you've got a problem where you're violating the rules, that's an entirely different story. That's investigating that. It's not falling in under one of the catch-alls. So if you're driving a motor vehicle, what are your obligations? Well, upon demand, a police officer will make a demand for license, ownership, and insurance. Those are the 3 things that we will demand. And if you don't provide those, you can be charged for not having them. And if we cannot establish your identity, you can be arrested and detained and or arrested until we can establish your identity. So if you refuse and say, I'm just not giving you anything, that's a problem. There is an obligation as a driver to do that. And if you refuse, there are consequences. Now, if you are a passenger in the vehicle, what happens then? Very simply, if nothing's gone wrong, if there's no issue and we're not investigating you for a highway traffic act or criminal offense, you don't have to identify yourself. But if there are issues like open alcohol in the vehicle, if there's cannabis in the vehicle, if you're not wearing your seatbelt, those become reasons where you are obligated to identify yourself. And if you fail to identify yourself, you could be detained and or arrested until such time as we can satisfy who you are. So that's pretty much it. Other than that, you don't have to talk to us. You don't have to tell us what your favorite color is. You don't have to tell us where you're coming from, where you're going to. There are situations where, as a driver, if we make a demand for a breath sample, or if we make a demand for a roadside sobriety test, you have to comply for those. If you don't, you can be arrested for failing to comply with a demand. But that's pretty much it. There's not much. There's not much else to talk about. So if you've got more questions about it, let us know, because I'd love to have this. This is great conversation. This is why we're here. But thank you for asking that question. And yeah, if there's something you think we've forgotten, let me know. Stephen says, hi, good morning, Sean and Aaron. How are you guys? We're doing all right. We're any day above ground is a good day for me. I think that's the deal. Today being May 4th, may the 4th be with you. We're waiting for a visit from a very special friend who should be joining us in a little while to talk about good stuff. Okay.
It's also hump day. Happy hump day. Meaning it's Wednesday. We're halfway through the week.
Right.
And camels. Think of
I just
camels.
realized I missed some questions from Becky, the producer from the Jerry Agar Show. Sorry, Becky, I missed your emails until just now. Okay. Oh, your email.
Oops, sorry.
Creating static.
Interference.
What am I looking for? I am looking for, here we go. That's what I'm looking for. I'm just seeing if we got any news about our special guest by way of email. Something I want to talk about while this is going to be a good test. Can I multitask, read an email while talking about something entirely different? Vision Zero Enforcement Team. Yes, the magical people who go out and change driver behavior one ticket at a time. That's their goal. I can't do it because my computer's annoying me. It's not working. So here we are. That failed. The deal is that they are the magical group of folks who are out there trying to change driver behavior every single day. They do that by way of issuing tickets, not hugs, when they find a driver who is breaking the rules, making the roads less safe for everybody else who's on them. Now, we go out into different areas. I say we when I talk about Vision Zero because they're part of our team. I'm the education side of it and social media side of it, and they're the people who go out and do the actual handwriting. So where are they today? They are in 32 Division and 43 Division. Those are the neighborhoods of Downsview, Willowdale, Newtonbrook, Bathurst Manor, Bendale, Woburn, Highland Creek, and West Hill. Those are not the only neighborhoods, of course, but those are some of the neighborhoods that represent those areas policed or serviced by that division or those divisions. What else can I tell you? I can tell you that we understand that minor collisions, they happen. They're inevitable. But the ones that lead to serious injury and death, they are completely unacceptable. And guess what? They're totally preventable. They're preventable if you change your behavior. That's it. You could save a life by following the rules, by paying attention, by slowing down. I know this isn't the popular part of my chat, but it is the deal. Let's see what we got here. We have... that's a good question, actually. So the question from Juice, I can't pronounce it. Juice Nelson? Am I pronouncing this correctly? Do I need to inform the ministry if I change my transmission type? You know what? I haven't looked in a long time, but I think you do. Because if you change your displacement, at least your cylinders, the number of cylinders you have, you do. If you change the color of your motor vehicle, you do. I think that transmission may be listed, and I haven't paid attention because I haven't had a manual transmission car in about 100 years, but I think you do have to notify them, at which point any change or significant change would be within 6 days of having that done. Cool question. Now you're going to make me do some homework and make sure that that I'm correct, but I'm not going to pull up my ownership right now.
It's really obscure. Like it.
Obscure is magical.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's see here. All right. We're waiting. I'm waiting on my friend to see. Okay, I'm just going to send him a message saying anytime you're ready. There we go. Key clicks happening. Anytime you're ready. Cool. Enter. Did it happen? No. But I'm going to press send. And I'm having email issues today, so I'm expecting that to send within the last 5-10 minutes. Okay. Okay, let's go into the Q&A section of the... Here we go. Why do some police cars not have... light bars. Why are they slick top? Because it's different. And we had vehicles that were more stealthy, the profile tends to really stand out. And we have vehicles that have, we don't want them to stand out, so they had less lighting. But there's no other real reason for it, other than the fact is we don't want it. They're enforcement cars. We don't want them to be as noticeable. Max speed of mobility scooters. I'd have to look that up. But mobility scooters are those for people who have difficulty getting around. They shouldn't be high-speed, gas-powered, muscle scooters. They're meant for people getting around. Now, if you talk about e-scooters, first of all, they're not available or permitted in Toronto, but there are specific regulations governing e-kick scooters, which I don't think you're going into, so we'll talk about that another time. Okay, Leo wife, my wife is in the chat. Good morning. And I assume that means it's snacking YouTube time. So hello to my kids who are watching. Hi, guys. And as per usual, can't wait to come home and see you. And today we have a special after school, after work adventure. So it's cool things. I'm looking forward to it, which usually means Daddy's spending money, but whatever. Okay, what do we got here? We got a bunch of stuff that came in on YouTube, and we got Alan who came in from Twitch saying, good morning, Sean and the moderators. Happy Wednesday. May the 4th be with you. We have links. What's this? Michael sent okay, he put up the court. Thank you very much. Can I use my dad's accessible plate to park in an accessible spot without him? So here's the deal. No, you can't. Accessible. Well, actually, Aaron.
I was just about to say.
I was going to let Aaron. I was going to mow.
No. That is how you get charged for misuse of the permit. So you can't use that permit unless the actual permit holder is with you. And, we actually have a process in investigating that. A parking officer can come up to you and question you on the permit, and we can retain the permit. And, if you say, oh, I'm just waiting, to pick up my dad or grandma, whoever, and we say, okay, well, let's go for a walk, and we come show me where dad or grandpa or grandma is. And if you start to sweat and say, well, they're not here, then the permit's
here's
taken
the
away.
deal. If you're going to use a permit, so let's say you drop mom and it's mom's permit, you drop mom at the doors and you drive away. If you don't have a physical or justified reason for having it, I won't say it's just physical, but if you don't have the permit in your name, if you're not the lawful user, you can walk.
Exactly.
And it's only intended for you for the user, for the issued person, to be able to have that access to that spot. And my mother, who passed a number of years ago and had a pass, said, if I don't need it today, if today's not a bad day, there's always somebody who needs it more than me. So even though she was somebody with a walker and or wheelchair, depending on the day, she would opt to leave that spot open for someone who needed it more. So if you are someone who's abusing that, if someone's not in the car with you, or if you have it under false pretenses, shame on you. Don't use it. Okay, there's my rant over. I have a big issue with those. And I was involved in a motor vehicle collision. I have an accessible permit. If I don't need it because I'm having a good day, I do not abuse it. I do not use it. But I have bad days where I have difficulty with mobility still. And on those days, I do use it. But if I can avoid it, I do.
There you go.
Okay. What is this? Aaron, this is definitely for you. Do you ticket people who can't park between two lines?
Well, I'm assuming you're talking about like a parking lot. So yes, we can ticket for that. But in terms of like just street parking, absolutely. If you're taking up a spot where you're not in the spot, like we were talking on the Jerry Agar Show, you can get ticketed for parking more than 30 centimeters from the curb. So yeah, just if you can't park in a spot properly, go park somewhere else. Just better for everyone.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, there's unfortunately there's no ticket for being a generally bad driver.
Yeah.
Okay. Question from Conky. When a U-turn is made at an intersection, the vehicle almost comes to a stop with no brake light, no signal. When a vehicle slows like that, it needs to signal the decrease in speed, otherwise it's unsafe. I'm paraphrasing a little bit, but the end of the day, you're absolutely right. When you are, well, here's the deal. You need to signal changes in speed and changes, well, at least deceleration, as well as changes in direction. That's why you have signals and brake lights. If you are gearing down in a standard car and you're coming down to a stop, you have not notified everyone behind you and you have become a hazard. And you could be charged for failing to signal. Equally, if you don't signal your turns, same deal. You're putting yourself in a dangerous position, and a U-turn is one of those things where you must do it safely. And if you're not doing it safely, guess what? Bad things in the form of tickets can happen, and collisions, which are worse than tickets. Okay, what is the oldest service cruiser within traffic services actually in service? I don't know, but we do have a 50s era car that is a show car. We have a Crown Vic that's being kept as a historic vehicle. We have Blinky, which is well out of service, but on a trailer collecting dust. I'd love to get him back in action. Blinky 2.0 is a dream I have, but we'll see. So we have the 50s car. We also have it's not a Chevelle. What is it? It's it's named, what is it called? I can't remember what it's called right now, but we have a number of vehicles, and we're going to have to make some videos about them because people keep asking, and I keep saying I want to, and then I run out of time and I don't do it. Is 40 over the speed limit stunting? Depends. Speeding 40 over on a street or in a road that has a speed limit under 80 kilometers an hour, it is most definitely now considered stunt driving. That changed as of September 12th, 2021. So, that's the deal. If you are if you're on a road that has a speed limit of 80 or more, then it's 50 over required to be stunting. But speed is not the only way to trigger a stunt driving charge. You can get a stunt charge from, intentionally losing traction, spinning your wheels, donuts, and whatnot. So, something to think about. If you're in that genre, that area, it's not genre, it's an area of violation, you shouldn't be driving. Because even if you're doing 39, 30 over, 20 over, you shouldn't be speeding. So there you go. We got more mobility scooters questions. I don't know what the maximum speed is, but it's not allowed to be a hot rod. Okay. What's your favorite sign? I think stop is probably my favorite sign, just because it's very, powerful. Aaron, what's your favorite sign from the wall?
Oh, from the wall?
I assume that's what they mean.
The no bicycle. Considering I'm a bike officer, no, I don't know. I do like it though. I think it's neat.
You know what? Considering those are held on by thumbtacks, when we move to the new studio space, I look forward to decorating. I've got some really cool stuff. I even have. Well, I'm not going to give up the secret. We're going to wait till we
leave the reveal.
Yeah, Q says, "Don't you mean zodiacs?" I'm like, I mean, I read what I want to read. I assume it's the street signs behind me and not zodiacs.
The way you want.
And if it's about zodiacs, I haven't a clue. I don't care about zodiacs. I don't know about zodiacs. I don't read. I don't zodiac. Zodiac's a boat, as far as I'm concerned. Is it legal for parking enforcement officers to chalk tires?
Yes, I saw that one. So yes, it absolutely is, because we are enforcing on city streets, and you do not have the right to. It's not a right for you to park your car on a city street. It is a privilege, and we are appointed by the police service to enforce parking bylaws, and that's a part of it, to time vehicles. So yes,
it is an acceptable practice.
Absolutely.
But violating parking laws isn't.
Exactly.
Okay. Did you have a question or a thing that you wanted to read?
Me?
You.
Oh, sorry, I saw another one, just kind of piggybacking off of the accessible permit. It was, what is the criteria needed to get an accessible permit? And I just want to say that's your doctor is the one who determines that. It's a prescription, and is that how it goes?
So basically, there's criteria that must be met, and it's a medical doctor or someone who's authorized to sign off on them, and that you can make an application. Not all applications are accepted. Not all doctors will provide it, but there is a specific requirement that in order to meet. And usually what happens is you get a temporary pass for a temporary condition, a permanent pass for a permanent condition, but it doesn't have to be physical. It could be other things as well. So things to think about. If you do need it, it's a great thing. If you don't need it, please don't abuse it, because there's a lot of people who don't want to pay for parking, and they find people who are willing to issue these things unlawfully, or because they're, my buddy doctor, not a doctor who has ethics. There are doctors that are good, and there are doctors who are bad, and those doctors often get investigated and charged in relation to those. Because we've heard of doctors who have issued more permits than any other doctors. So oddly enough, these things get tracked. Okay, what can we talk about? Oh, there was a question. Lou Demi wants to know: do I need my third brake light to function in my truck? Both my taillight brake lights work. So here's the deal. To import a car to be sold here, you have to have that third taillight above the cab or the one in your rear window. Oddly enough, the Highway Traffic Act in Ontario only requires you to have one functioning taillight. 2 headlights, 1 taillight. So if you had that taillight in your rear window that did not function, we wouldn't charge you for it because as long as you have one, you're good. But if you had one headlight go out, you would be charged because you need to have two of those. Only vehicles that can have one are motorcycles. By the way, May is Motorcycle Awareness Month. Did you know that motorcycles are on the road? Like a lot of motorcycles are on the road, and because the weather's getting nicer, more of them will continue to join us on the road. Please check your blind spots. Please look twice to save a life. We want to make sure that vulnerable road users, like motorcycle operators, are protected. They're safe. They don't die as a result of a move that a vehicle makes. Now, that's not to say that motorcycles are innocent of everything. Some riders choose to do dangerous things, and sometimes those result in collisions. So I'm not trying to say that motorcycles must be babied or taken care of, only that you do your part to keep the roads safe, because traffic safety is a shared responsibility. We all have a part to play, and it's not just about motorcycles, it's cyclists. There's more of those out, and they too are vulnerable. So what else can we talk about motorcycles? Not much, other than I want to get on mine and ride this year. That is my sincere hope that I will be on two wheels at some point this year, even if it's only for short distances, because I want to sort of get back into the swing of riding. Okay. What is this? What is this? Kids now home with cars, no spots in driveway. Here is a question for Aaron when Instagram decides to. Jake here says, good morning. Kids now home with cars, no spots in driveway. How can I stop tickets for parking on the street? That's a great question.
So I'm assuming you're just getting tickets for like the 3-hour bylaw. Is that what it
So they have more cars that need to stay overnight than they have spots in their driveways.
In their driveway.
So where do they put the cars when they're not on their driveways?
Well, that's the thing. So the City of Toronto, the city bylaw is 3 hours, and that if there's no bylaw on that street, then you could be getting a ticket for the 3-hour bylaw if it's a complaint.
And some streets have bylaw or permits you can buy.
Yes. So unless it's a permit street, you can get a temporary residential parking permit from the city. You can get them for like up to a couple days, a week. So yeah, you can look through the City of Toronto website.
So that's a temporary permit, but could you be a full-time, like monthly permit?
Yeah, you can be full, like yearly permit. And those, I do believe you have to provide proof that you are a resident though on the street. So if it's just kids staying overnight or whatnot, I suggest getting the temporary permit.
And if it's going to be a long-term thing, there is this thing about being a neighborly neighbor. You may find somebody else in your street, even if it's a few doors down or a block over, that you notice never has two cars. Well, what I'm not going to suggest is that you park there without permission, but you might be able to make arrangements either for free or for a small amount of money. Maybe you could rent part of their driveway. That's something that is possible. Now, that's not something they will or have to agree with, but certainly worth having a conversation. That might help you out. Question from Harmon says, why is it illegal doing donuts in a private lot? Well, first of all, there's a couple of things to unpack here. First of all, if you do donuts on the road, it's stunt driving. If you do donuts on private property, it used to be simply mischief and destroying property, because when you actually spin your tires, that's damaging the asphalt that somebody paid for, and I'm assuming it wasn't you. Now, because of the behavior of some people who decided to stunt drive and take over and do silly things that ended up being criminal, people in government decided that they needed to take action to stop this behavior, both to prevent people from damaging private property and putting lives at risk, which may at times include the driver of the vehicle that is doing donuts. So they changed the law, and on September 12, 2021, it has now become illegal to both to do donuts or stunt drive or drift or what have you on private property as well as on public property. And that includes your driveway, not just a private parking lot. That's the story. You can't do it. Aaron's reading stuff.
Yes, okay. I'm looking through your Q&A.
What is this? Sean, can underage driver have sealed alcohol in the car? Sealed alcohol isn't a problem. Transporting alcohol isn't a problem. Open alcohol is a problem for anyone. The underage portion deals with purchasing alcohol. Possession of alcohol isn't the same thing. Now, the question is, how did it get purchased for you? There's a whole bunch of things under the Liquor License Act and rules surrounding alcohol. Things that most of you never knew about. And maybe we'll do an episode on it, but it's not something for right now. I will come back. We are going to circle back. I want to do some rereading before I go into a whole alcohol thing, because we're going to do an episode about laws you didn't know were there. Yeah. I bet you there's a whole bunch of stuff that will blow your mind.
Yeah.
By the way, did we talk about Star Wars? What's your favorite Star Wars character? Because today is May 4th. May the 4th be with you.
Princess Leia.
Come on, really?
Or Jabba the Hutt.
What?
No, I just say that because I refer to my cat as Jabba the Hutt sometimes
so you
because
love
she literally sits like him sometimes, or Yoda because he's just Yoda or Baby
How is
Yoda
he-
from the what was that new the one that was on Disney? I don't know, with the Baby Yoda. What is that one called?
Mandalorian.
That there you go. Thanks, Q.
His name is Grogu. I'll have you know.
It's Baby Yoda.
What is going on here? I'm looking for. Apparently, we had someone pop into the green room, and then we didn't see them or notice them, and they disappeared.
Oh no.
Maybe they didn't punch in their name. Really? He says he's there. I don't see him. What's your screen name? Q, do you see anybody in the green room?
If you're seeing things that I'm not seeing, then I'm worried.
I don't see him in the green room.
He's probably in the other one, or did
Can't
you
be in the
recognize
other one.
yes?
Try and reload. No, I sent them the same request or link to. We have a guest who's waiting to get in. Let me see here. I'm gonna. How is this not working for him? It's very strange. We don't see you. I would try actually maybe Q it. Maybe you try refreshing your page and see if you get him, because we don't know why we can't bring him in. But we do have a special guest who's trying to get on to talk to us about today. And maybe when she comes back in, she'll see him. Q, your name has changed. That's weird. Okay, we're trying to work out some technical difficulties to bring our guest in, the magical man from Happy Land who has lots of information about stuff and things. Okay, there you go. Strangeness. Okay, we're trying to work this out. I don't want to have to put him on speakerphone. That would bite. Okay, in the meantime, while we work this out, I want to put out another question here. Here's an interesting question. Can I wash chalk off people's tires and do God's work?
I saw that. Yeah, well, we're not gonna stop you. I've seen people do it. When I didn't chalk the street, but I've seen people do it off their own car. But just I don't know. It's do what you want. We can't stop you for that. Well, there's other ways that we can time your car that you won't know that we're timing it. So I'll leave that secret to myself.
I don't know what the story
But yeah, essentially, if there's no fresh chalk, then we're not going to ticket it.
Okay, one sec. I'm trying to resend. So no, yeah, we won't. But you know what? There's a potential that could be a mischief charge, and maybe there could be a police.
Maybe on your side of things.
Yeah, I'm just thinking. It could be. It could be a thing. Okay, I'm just. My email is wonky, so I'm going to. I pressed reply. Things. Oh, here we go. I'm going to resend the link to our friend and see if that works. Maybe the new link will work better. Okay, moving along. Trying to get the special guest in here. Okay, let's do this. Is there any rules for making your car too low? Yes, there's a whole bunch of rules. Part of it's just about making your vehicle safe, and it's also part about. There's two sides of it. So if you make your vehicle unsafe by lowering it too low, it's a problem. Now, technically, 1.5 inches from its factory height is illegal, as we're told by mechanics. But we don't look at that because we don't know what manufacturers' suggested ride heights are. We do, however, look at whether or not it's touching the ground, if the tires are touching the frame or body, if the body is touching the ground. There's a ton of different things. And what is this going on? Oh, I bet you I know what's happening. Okay. Make sure Chrome, not the other browser. We figured it out. Okay. I've texted. It's coming together. My fault. I didn't put on don't use archaic browsers. Yeah, I don't get it. Does anybody use something other than Chrome or Safari? Does anything else exist except for various? Hey, look at that. We have him. He's
here.
Okay. Now I'm about to bring in, and for the folks, let me change my stand by here 1 second. I got to change my overlay. Hide that. And we're going to bring in.
Oh my
ready.
gosh.
He's ready. What's going on? He's getting his headset back on. He couldn't wear the headset. You couldn't wear the headset while wearing that. Is that even possible? Oh, we don't hear you. We got no audio. Oh no. You may have to check. I don't know if you did this when you signed in, but under the gear, there's an audio selector.
Can you hear me now?
I hear you now.
Okay,
You had to mute on the wire. There we go.
Yes, apparently. My apologies. My head's
PC
too large.
PC Peter de Quinto.
Sir. I apologize. I think it was the previous internet browser that I was using. Apparently, it was not friendly to this.
Well, it wasn't
So here
made
I
in
am.
this century, was it?
Probably not. So.
Yes, the world of computers that are running on police networks for security. We have all sorts of things that we have to do. That's one of them. Apparently, certain ones work better than others. Anyway, we won't dwell on that. Happy Star Wars Day. May the 4th be with you.
May the 4th be with you as well. Thank you.
Now, what you don't know, I've introduced you to Peter, but I didn't tell you what his screen name is, which is Star Wars Cop. So you like it a little bit?
Star Wars Cop, yes. That's definitely my social media thing. And yeah, just a bit of a fan of Star Wars. I had a bit of a child care issue this morning, so I had to bring my child in today.
Grogu, what's going on?
Yeah,
Baby Yoda.
Not Baby Yoda. It's Grogu.
It's Grogu.
Don't mess.
Grogu.
Yeah. Now, for those of you on TikTok who cannot see what I'm seeing, because I'm currently looking at Peter on screen. If you go to our YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, you can see him, but you have to be on something other than TikTok. Not that I want to get rid of you on here, but that's how you would see. So that's an animatronic Grogu.
Yes, sir. You can. He gets hungry. He needs his little. You gotta put his food in his hands. Sorry.
Oh my gosh, that's so cute. Where do you get one of those?
Hey, we don't want to know the price tag because I think I saw that. That was on clearance at Mastermind. I should have bought it.
$30.
At Mastermind? I got.
See, there he is. He's eating.
He's so cute.
I've been passing him around the office, being like, "Look, guys, sorry, I had to really rush this morning, so I brought my child in." And so
Yeah, can you watch him during this meeting?
Yeah, can you just watch him for a little bit there? But yeah, no, he was on clearance on Mastermind, so that's why I purchased him. So
Yeah, I think I'm going to Mastermind afterwards. My kids are going to go bananas, unless everybody who's watching the show just gets in their car now and drives. And and Q wants one too. So
I definitely see it is a macaroon. It is a macaroon that he was eating.
Is it macaroon or Macron? If Mr. Wonderful says Macron.
Macron. Okay.
I don't know. He does French things, and because he's a Montrealer, I believe.
You can hear him. He drinks his soup. You can hear the little. Oh, he little burped. He burped.
Oh.
Sorry.
Grogu Greps.
Like any child. So, yeah.
So Peter and I used to work together at 12 Division, not together, but in the same building. And you've been doing what? What are we saying?
Sorry. My child was speaking.
Oh, it's Grogu. Sorry, yeah, Grogu. Get with it. Come on, we're on the internet. So okay, Star Wars Cop. How did that? You just always be a Star Wars fan since you were a kid?
Yes, I've always been a Star Wars fan. I had two older brothers who were huge into Star Wars, and so I've always been a Star Wars fan. And then I think with social media and stuff, it kind of took a life of its own and stuff. And so yeah, I at one point my social media was not Star Wars Cop. It was TC Traffic Cop 9444, which was like my badge.
Far less exciting than
far less exciting. So the service said, you should come up with something catchy, and so Star Wars Cop was born. And so yeah, here we are. Yeah, my desk is a whole bunch of Star Wars stuff. I will even tell you that my boss is a Star Wars fan himself. I don't know let me see if I can move my camera there. You can see I have a levitating apple above another Yoda and stuff, and then there's Chewbacca over there. Very nice. Is that with your 3D printer?
That's my 3D printer. My first print, one of my first
things.
printers in my resin printer was of this. And I can't find Grogu. I have a little Grogu on my desk too that my family sent me.
People send me things. I'm like, oh, hold on.
What is that?
Yeah, so I'll be honest with you, people send me different things. Most of the stuff that's in my office or people send me from different places. I think that was a woman in Utah who sent me that.
Get out of town. So you're known the world everywhere. Famous guy.
I get different things. I even have like an R2D2 humidifier and stuff.
Well, at one point I was going to get you a waffle maker because I was at Walmart and they were on sale.
I have waffle makers. I have Death Star waffle makers. I used to run a Star Wars breakfast program every Wednesday at one school, and I think it was like Thursday at another school. So we used to do a whole Star Wars spread, and there was like Darth Vader popped out toast that had Star Wars on it. The Stormtroopers popped out toast that had a TIE fighter on it. What was the Death Star one? I can't remember what the Death Star's logo was, but they all had different branding to them as they would pop out, so that would be burnt into the toast.
It would be a reason to have carbs. I'll tell you that.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So it's something, since we got to tie this into traffic. You were wearing a helmet when we started. Was that a Jabba? Not Jabba. Boba Fett, or was that a?
It's a Mandalorian helmet. It is the Death Watch. It's from the show The Mandalorian, which if you haven't watched, you should.
Oh, I've
It's an
watched.
excellent show. I'm not here to promote Disney by any means. Maybe a little bit. Yeah, no, I love I love The Mandalorian, and so that is a Death Watch helmet. So yeah, it's from the.
Is that regulation? Can we wear that on traffic stops?
Absolutely not, but sure.
But I wanted to segue to helmets because you were instrumental in bringing a helmet program. You're big on the 2v1, and let's talk about bicycle safety for a second.
So a number of years ago, I founded what is called the Toronto Helmet Initiative. So if you go onto the City of Toronto website, so www.toronto.ca, and you put /helmets in, you will see videos of myself, videos with nurses, doctors, speaking about safety. There's an instructional video about the 2v1 rule on how to put your helmet on properly using the 2v1 rule. This is all guidelines that are set out by the Ministry of Transportation, and so we're just there helping to further promote it. So yeah, the Toronto Helmet Initiative was a partnership between the Toronto Police, Toronto Catholic School Board, Toronto Public School Board, Sick Kids, and Public Health.
But ultimately, it's to wear your helmet because your computer is kind of important, the one that's stored up here, and even minor falls can create tremendous injury.
Absolutely. Anybody who is truly into cycling will tell you the zero velocity drop can be pretty vicious for those guys who lock their their
toe
shoes
clips
into them. Yeah.
Yeah, I falling bad. We've heard lots of stories about people who are just hanging out, waiting in the driveway for someone to come out, lost their balance, fell down. Either were never the same or it didn't survive.
Yeah, and especially with kids, the rules are under the age of 18, you have to wear a helmet. And especially with kids, people be like, oh, they're not going very far, they're not going very fast. But if they fall and they bump their head on the curb, right? Like my personal connection is when I was 12 years old, I was hit by a car riding a bicycle. At the time, I'm going to date myself a little bit. However, helmets weren't law by then. And I used to have beautiful hair, and so I didn't want to wear a helmet.
Sorry, that caught me off guard.
Sorry. So I will tell
I
you,
have beautiful hair now, all 6 of them.
Yeah. So it's seedlings. They're growing. I stay under a lamp at times. And so, yeah, no, I was hit by a car, and I remember going to Sick Kids, and the doctor asking, did you wear a helmet? I said, no. And he's like, did you black out? And I said, yes. He's like, do you think you should wear a helmet? And I'm like, yes. And the very next day I had a helmet.
Amazing. It magically appeared.
Yep. My parents went and bought a helmet. So yeah, I know I was headed westbound across Bloor Street, and a car decided to make a left in front of me. There was a whole bunch of witnesses that he basically just quickly turned in front of me, and I ended up essentially T-boning him. And there's a part where I don't remember flying over his car, and I just know I woke up on his hood, and I had his windshield wiper actually up the back of my winter jacket because I was like, I'm trying to get off his car. And yeah, there was a bit of a language barrier. All he could basically say to me was, are you okay? And so I was like, sure, I'm a 12-year-old kid that's rolling off your car. I think I was more scared because I was using my brother's bike at that time, and I was like, oh my God, I'm going to get in so much trouble when I get home. So yeah.
Just wait till your father gets home. I'd love to sit and chat. We got to get back to some questions, but if you're around later, we should do a podcast.
Sounds good.
Okay, I'll reach out. We'll talk to you soon.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Take care.
Ciao. Okay, so we had a visit from the Star Wars cop, and that's so perfect because it's Star Wars Day. Yeah. We got a question from Gamer Guyani who says, can I park my semi, is a big rig, in my driveway with no trailer? So
how big is your driveway?
I was going to say, you don't live in the downtown core, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
But if you've got the space for it, I think it's going to be a bylaw from every place. Like every jurisdiction is going to have its own rules.
Yeah, exactly. If I'm assuming it's just without the back big cube thing, I'm assuming
it's a
the
big
trailer.
Rig, so no trailer attached.
Yeah, so I believe so. I see that downtown, even on certain driveways and roads. Yeah.
The biggest thing is if someone complains, it might become an issue. I know in York Region, a friend of mine got in trouble for having his school bus. He has a school bus, and he couldn't park it on his driveway because they have a no commercial vehicle policy. Even a dually, a dual tire truck could be a violation in some jurisdictions. So the answer is you got to check with the municipality. And like many things, like in Toronto, unless somebody complains, it may never become an issue.
Yes, and there are weight limits as well for heavy trucks to be parked on city streets. So just look into, wherever you're planning to park that.
Here's a question that says, how do the school cameras work maximum speed? Maximum speed is the posted speed limit. Anything above, you could be eligible. And every jurisdiction, every municipality sets their own trigger point. So whether it's 1, 2, 5, 10 kilometers over before they take a picture and send you a ticket, that's going to be up to them. What's the number in Toronto? Wouldn't you like to know? Don't speed is the answer. Because if you're speeding, you are eligible for a ticket and quite deserving. Let's see here. I gotta ban someone. Block. They want us to buy. No, block user. Yeah, there we go. They want us. Oh no! I hope I just didn't do that. I think I just got the wrong person.
Oh no!
Oh
Didn't mean to laugh.
I think I just blocked like Ryan Pin or something.
Come back. We're
I
sorry.
have to fix that. I'll fix that. I really will. It was somebody who was trying to sell us users or something. I was triggered. Pressed the wrong button too quick. If that's Ryan, I'm so sorry. Tracy Bell says, hello, Star Wars cop. And of course, he's left before. I kicked him out before he got a chance to get that message. Let's see. Oh, Ryan Pin wants to know if Star Wars cop was wiped off the windshield. So let's move back into questions. I feel so guilty about banning the wrong person. Okay. But yeah, those folks. Q. Where do I go here? Let me try and fix the issues that I've created. I want to go back and check our ban list. Okay, I'm going to try and multitask. Let's find a question for Aaron to answer, so I can do other things while I try and fix the horrible.
I'm trying to look for one.
Let's see here. Someone hits me in a parking lot. 50-50 fault. So I see it said parking, so I got excited.
Yeah.
But the deal is that parking lots, generally speaking, are going to be 50-50. The insurance companies may determine a different level of blame based on what action was taken, but essentially, we don't lay charges on private property, and they're at least not in relation to a standard collision. If someone leaves, if someone does something illegal, if someone doesn't have insurance, actually even in the insurance portion, there's no charge for no insurance on private property. That have to have driving on the public roads to get the charge. So very often it is 50-50. Let's see here.
I do see a parking question.
Okay, you go for it. I'll do something else.
Can an empty school bus to park in front of a stop sign, I'm assuming?
Park in front of a stop sign?
An empty school bus? No. School buses can get tickets if they're not engaged in loading or unloading students or whoever they're there for transporting. There are tons of school bus loading zones within the city, but like any other vehicle, you can't be parked right at a stop sign. That defeats the purpose.
You can't block it, and you can't illegally park.
Yeah, you're supposed to be 9 meters to any intersecting road anyway. So yeah, a school bus could totally get a ticket for that.
Good, and they should. Nobody should be able to park illegally and block roads, especially when you consider blocking a stop sign is creating a hazard.
Absolutely.
Okay, there we go. Q apparently came to the rescue, fixed everything, and we can move on. What is the website he is referring to? Was that? I think you were talking about. Harmon, are you referring to the helmet thing? I'll have to get it for you later, or you can watch it in replay because he posted it or talked about it when we recorded. And this is all recorded. In fact, we're almost at 1,000 followers on YouTube. Did you know?
1,000?
Yes, on YouTube.
Wow,
that's a big deal.
That is a big deal.
Because the whole world changes at 1,000. Actually, I have no idea. Do we get a free toaster at 1,000? I'm not sure what happens then. But the deal is, it was Ryan Pin and White blocked. Oh, terrible.
Sorry.
Is he back? Can we send him like flowers or something?
He's already back. He responded in chat.
Oh, okay.
I shall protect my Force Ghost.
Okay, good. Ryan, so many people that I could, without hesitation block, but not you. Okay, just because he has a beard too, so facial hair. It's a gang of facial hair people. Let's see here. Really? No. Park truck and trailer on road. Okay, this is a good question. So I've got a truck and trailer. If I park on the road at a pay and display, do I have to pay for 2 spots, or is it one vehicle as long as it is?
No. So if it's attached and if it's on street and you've paid for the vehicle, then you don't have to pay for the trailer as well. But if it's a trailer just on its own with no vehicle attached, And
can you even park that legally?
No, I've ticketed trailers before. That's what I was going to get into next. So yeah, if you just leave a trailer with a license plate, it has to have a license plate, of course. You can get it, or the trailer can get a ticket on its own.
Very nice. And if it's got no license plate, we're probably going to tow it and impound it and figure out what happened.
Exactly. But yeah, just one paid spot for that.
Jim Duck. Not Jim like Jim Henson. It's Jim like he goes to the gym.
Oh.
Are tinted taillights or headlights illegal? I can tell you without a question, there is a specific charge for tinted or covered headlights. You can't do that at all. Tinted taillights, we've had some discussions and disagreements because this is something that Sergeant Campbell has said, not allowed, cannot do it. But the way I read it, I disagree with him slightly in that as long as it meets the minimum requirements, in that it is discernible at the 150 meter mark, and that's going to be subjective to some degree. It has to be a properly functioning taillight, and if it still is at that marked distance, then it could be legal. But here's one thing that Sergeant Campbell and I are 100% in agreement of. Why the heck would you tint your taillights? It might look cool at a car show, but if it makes you less visible to anybody on the road, it increases your chances of being rear-ended. And guess what? When I investigate collisions and when insurance companies look at the car that they now own because it was in a collision, they look at little things, like tinted taillights and go, this driver contributed to the collision that they were in. They are more responsible. We're not paying them. Any modification you do could result in you being denied in your claim. And that's an insurance thing. It's nothing to do with me. It's not you getting a ticket. That's going to be you trying to figure out why you have to buy a new car and not have any insurance coverage. Just saying. What types of uniforms are you permitted to wear? Police ones. So in terms of uniforms, it's generally speaking, unless you're in a bicycle unit or in a marine unit, you're going to be wearing, cargo pants, a shirt, a body armor, and your bat belt. Your gun and stuff. On top of that, you got a sweater, which was recently changed to a polar fleece type jacket, and a bomber jacket. That's pretty much it. Plus a hat. Now we've recently transitioned from forage caps, which are the more traditional hat, which is not in arm's reach.
Buddy's wearing one.
Buddy's wearing a forage cap, and that's with a badge on the front. And we've transitioned to baseball caps, so that's pretty much the uniform. There used to be something called a winter reefer. That was what I was originally issued. That was a winter jacket, and then I had something called a spring fall jacket, which was just a crap. It's just a crappy jacket, but that's it. So things have changed. It's pretty standard. It's a uniform. We're supposed to look the same. Now there are folks who have there's different uniforms for neighborhood officers.
Yeah,
that is a unique thing. That was I believe with a school that used to be called Ryerson. I think
Toronto Metropolitan University.
I gotta write that down. The formerly known as Ryerson, I believe they got together and were instrumental in creating or designing the new uniform for neighborhood officers. But that's more of a polo with a whole bunch of reflective things, so they glow.
Yeah, their uniforms are pretty sweet. I'm jealous of them.
And then bicycle officers have different pants.
Yeah, we have pants and we get to wear shorts, which is the best in the summer.
And you have modified uniforms from even that of so parking enforcement officers wear different stuff, light blue shirts, blue stripe instead of red stripe.
We wear blue bicycle jackets with the reflective stripes and whatnot. Yes.
Have you ever pulled over a school bus on a highway? I've never pulled over a school bus at all. I was going to look at Aaron. Have you ever pulled over a school bus? And I know that you can say no.
No.
Ryan Pinn says Nova Scotia just passed a law banning civilians from owning active police uniforms. I don't know why anyone would own a police uniform if they weren't a police officer. First of all, they're not horribly comfortable. And if you're wearing one, it is to do bad things and misrepresent yourself. So I support that. Nobody needs to own a police uniform that's still being used. I understand there's collectors and they have stuff. I have a friend it has an incredible collection. You know who you are if you're watching. And he has stuff that's made of wool that is, you could stand up on its own. It's so thick. And he wears it at shows to show what a Bobby used to look like or an old time copper here. It's impressive that he's amassed such a collection. Let's see here. What happens now without having to buy a stick? Without a stick, you can't play stickball. So no sticks, no stickball. I don't know. Do not know why TikTok has like an 8-character limit on questions. But sticker is the actual question, and the answer is you need to renew. It's free. It's online. You can do 1 or 2 years. I would do it right away. Get it out of the way. I'm going to do it right after the show. That's what I'm doing. Here's a great questions. Okay, there's two-part. Cobra's other question is really good. This one I'll knock out of the park. Do dispatchers dress the same? Do they have uniforms? Do you know the answer is I have no idea. I assume they'd be eligible for uniforms, but they're not, are they?
They're in their civilian clothes.
Get out of town.
Yes.
Lucky. Well, they're not seen, so who sees them? Why would? But I know that in the States, many dispatchers have police uniforms.
Yeah, I think they have to dress like business casual, or I'm not sure, or like I don't know if they can. I don't know. No, okay.
Did you do it in your PJs?
Asif just confirmed. He's like, no.
So here's a question from Cobra, who says CB radio, ham radio, is that distracted driving? And yes and no. So if you have a CB radio, it's not covered under an exemption, but ham radio operators that are licensed are exempt from the distracted driving laws. Wild and crazy stuff, I say. Now, if you have a CB and you are destined to or must use it, get a remote PTT and a speaker, and then you can operate it, but you can't hold the microphone. And that really gets people upset because they go, police shouldn't be using their cell phones. And just for anyone who doesn't already know this, police officers are allowed to use their cellular phones, computers, or handheld communication devices, being the walkie-talkies, if they're in the lawful execution of their duties. If they're operating a police vehicle, they're allowed to do it. It's because we need to communicate for policing, which is part of what it is. And people say, well, why don't you use your radios? Why are you using your cell phones? But guess what? A radio is as much of a distraction as a cell phone. And what many people don't know is that we have cellular phones that are enabled for policing purposes, to use them as walkie-talkies, to use them for access to police databases. So there are reasons why police officers are exempt, and it's not to order pizza, even though that sounds like a great idea, right? Pizza would go anyway. No carbs. Okay, so Gamer Guyani was talking about the truck in the driveway business, and the question is, following up saying, I live in Brampton and it fits without sticking out. Yep, you need to talk to Brampton bylaw to find out if it'll be permitted there. We generally talk about Toronto stuff, especially when it comes to parking. We couldn't tell you for parking rules elsewhere. Yeah. Can you drive down the road with the tailgate down? Yes, unless you're on the 407, because I understand that OPP will charge you for covering your license plates to avoid being charged for the 407. But generally speaking, having your tailgate down, I'm told, is for aerodynamics. I have had pickup trucks. I've never driven with the tailgate down unless transporting items. But it wasn't just for the purposes of. So actually, maybe you're not doing it for aerodynamics. Maybe you're doing it for transporting stuff. So under those circumstances, you could. It's not unlawful, and the license plate's not considered obstructed unless it cannot be seen, and then it is. Okay. Let's see here. Boom, boom, boom. Why are the laws not the same across Canada? It's a great question. And the answer is because each province sets its own laws. Criminal code is the same across Canada. It's called the Canadian Criminal Code. But the provincial laws for motor vehicles are provincial laws. So unless that changes and it becomes federal, it's going to remain different for every province. Now, the general stuff is the same. Generally speaking, we are the same everywhere you go. The rules of driving, but things more about equipment. Can you have tint? What level of tint? That changes. And maybe we should just make it illegal everywhere. Also, the price of fines are tremendously different. Like you look at, and we're going to have our friends from Safe Communities. I'm going to try and get them on tomorrow. We're going to start doing some lives with them. But they're in Brooks, Alberta, and the fines for traffic offenses there make us look like Costco.
Really?
Like, it's so cheap compared to what they pay for fines. Anyway, we'll talk about it tomorrow or when we do our podcast episode with them because crazy stuff. Okay. Q. Yes, it was already issued. By the way, my name is Sean Shapiro. I'm a police constable with the Toronto Police Service here in Ontario, Canada. I go live Monday to Friday, assuming I'm physically in the office, or actually even when I'm sick or at home, I still go live. I'm just that guy. We talk about traffic and traffic law, traffic safety. We answer your questions about police stuff. We're here to serve you, to help you, dispel rumor, wade through misinformation and get you the right information. What else can I tell you? Right next to me is Erin Urquhart. She's a parking enforcement officer with the Toronto Police Service. She is available by two accounts. I have two accounts too, but really I focus on this one, Traffic Services, whereas Erin is both available on TPS_Bikehart on all social media platforms, as well as Parking TPS. Yes. Interesting. Very interesting. Okay, good things to know. Asif, if you make if moderator makes a comment, I'll be able to verify and change that. That would be interesting. Do we have it? Is there a comment? Make a comment. All right. Hi, Tracy. I just saw 4 dots means you have at least 4 years experience and can supervise G. Well, thanks, Tracy. That's awesome. There you go. Oh, and there we go. Traffic moderator. Why wouldn't you have?
Hello.
Oh, how did that happen? How did you lose moderator status? I don't know. Anyway, you now have moderator status again. Maybe it just didn't like us, and we did it, and it ignored us. Okay. Moving along. We have 5 minutes. 5 minutes.
I actually I saw a question in the chat that I'm curious about myself. Do we need to stop for emergency vehicles if we have a divider in between?
So on a divided highway, assuming they are on the other side of the highway, then no, you do not. When emergency vehicles are approaching from behind on a divided highway, it is only the people on the same side of the road. If it is undivided, it is very possible that we will be crossing over that lack of divider to go into oncoming traffic. Thus, all traffic must stop.
Makes sense.
Mark Megan wants to know, do motorcycles pay less for 407? Not that I'm aware of. I've never asked the question. I don't think there's a discount. Nope. Not that I'm aware of. But check their website and then let me know, because I now want to know the answer. Okay. What is this? Neighbor making noise, vehicle, police, or bylaw. So noise complaints, generally speaking, it's changed. I don't want to give you the wrong information. I would call 311 if you're in Toronto and go by that. I think it's going to be bylaw. Once upon a time, police did go. I don't think we go for those calls anymore. I think it's a bylaw issue. However, noise with vehicle on the road is a police issue. If they're creating unnecessary noise with their motor vehicle on the road, not in their driveway, then it would be a police enforcement situation. And you could make that report by way of a neighborhood or individual vehicle complaint. But know that your name and information is on there, so if it's your neighbor, that might cause a conflict. Okay. Cop mistakes speed limit in stunt driving. What happens then? We don't generally mistake this. Oh, you mean we lay a charge thinking it's one speed limit, but it turns out to be another? Then you have a defense in court, if that's the case. If it was an incorrect piece of evidence or information, then that's entirely something you could use in your defense. We have 1 minute and 54 seconds remaining on Traffic Services Toronto, which is our Instagram account, and then they're going to disappear because for some reason our application to be verified on Traffic Services Toronto, I don't know, Instagram, what's going on? You tell me. Maybe everyone should tag Instagram and tell them that they, tell them. Tell them they need to verify us so we can just talk endlessly. Now, what else can I tell you? If you are watching us here, know that we do this every single day, Monday to Friday. It's not every single day, it's Monday to Friday, or whenever we're not on holiday. Although I am going on holiday and I plan on bringing you with me. Just saying. We're gonna go on an adventure and I'm gonna bring you with me. Someone's calling me from there and I can't answer. And if you're, I don't know who you're calling from. I will call you back from that extension. Now, if you are following us on Traffic Services on TikTok, know that we are on other areas as well. We are on TikTok. We're on Instagram, Traffic Services Toronto. We are on YouTube, Traffic Services Toronto Police. We are on Twitch at Traffic Services. We are on Facebook, Traffic Services. We are on, where else? We're everywhere. We're LinkedIn under Sean Shapiro. That's just me. But you know what? We stream daily, and we look forward to answering your traffic and police questions whenever you bring them to us. So with that, let's see if we can push in a couple of questions before we go. Oh, and people who are asking about my personal TikTok, it's VoiceOver Cop, because that's what I call myself. VoiceOver Cop on Twitter, VoiceOver Cop on Twitch, because occasionally I play a game, and I meant to do that a lot, and it hasn't happened. Maybe I'll do it on vacation. 14 seconds left on Traffic Services Toronto Instagram. Okay, we'll say goodbye to you guys, but if you want to continue talking for 5 more minutes, we'll be on YouTube. What do we got here? I have a street bike. Could I put underglow on it? There is no law preventing you from doing it for simply having it. However, you need to know that you should not be projecting light outward, front, back, sides. Directly down, not a problem. And, what is this? Oh. Rear-facing red lights under vehicle, legal or no? So rear-facing red lights on their vehicle depends on what you're projecting. Like if it's working in conjunction with your brake lights, I see those all the time. Those shouldn't be an issue as long as they are illuminating. They're part of your brake light system. Simply projecting red light, not necessarily a good thing. But I'd have to see it to know what we're talking about. Projecting red light to the front, definitely an issue. Oh, red light to the back like a track light? Are you talking about a brake light? The flashing, intermittent flashing? That is illegal. You can't have intermittent flashing red light. There's a specific charge for that. But again, people make the argument that a signal is an intermittent flashing red light. I'd have to see it. Okay. What do we got here? Oh, one of my favorite questions. What... Sorry, it makes me laugh every time. Can I put my front license plate on my dashboard? The answer is no, you can't. Unless you're storing your car for the winter. Like the regulation says that you have to have it on the front and back of the vehicle in a conspicuous location that is legible. So if you take it off where it's supposed to be and put it in the middle of your car in a windshield, it's both obstructed, incorrectly mounted, and you can get a charge. The charge would be fail to display both plates, I believe is the wording, and it's a $110 ticket. If you continuously do that, we keep pulling you over and you've got a pattern of behavior where you are simply just not listening, then we're going to send you directly to court. Instead of giving you a ticket which gives you the option to pay, we're going to say, no, you need to go see a justice of the peace and explain yourself. Fail to show up in court with either you or a representative. At that point, you could find yourself with a bench warrant. Bad things. At the end of the day, it's such a simple law. Just put it where it's supposed to go. And then, life moves on. I want to try and find another one. Where do I put my 407 transponder? My suggestion would be behind the rear view mirror so it does not interfere with your view of the road or through the windshield. And that's where I put mine. You can't even see it. It's above and behind, and it works perfectly. Mind you, some people like to put it elsewhere in the vehicle, not on the window at all, and it still works, like directly down on the dashboard. Just because I haven't pressed this button in a while, let's do a Q and we're going to remove the Q&A pin question, and we're going to say how many people are doing something specific to Star Wars Day. If are you celebrating Star Wars Day, happy face, or you're not, crying face? I don't have a celebratory plan. Like, I'm not having Star Wars themed dinner. My kids we're going to watch Star Wars. So I guess we are celebrating. And we've been talking about May the 4th be with you all day. An overwhelming response of no one cares about Star Wars. Did you never see the movie? Why aren't you celebrating? There should be a celebration here. My kids they're under 10 years old and they like Chewbacca. They also love Grogu, but that's sort of new generation Mandalorian. Does that count? It's the Star Wars universe.
I think it counts.
Does it count?
New generation of Star Wars fans.
That's awesome. Hey, if you don't already follow us, please do. We do this all the time, and we do it for you. So come join us and go live with us and ask us questions. And this is how we roll. We roll. We roll? This is how we roll? Does that work?
This is how we do it.
This is how we do it. Oh, no. All right, let's start the end music. We're gonna wrap this up. There's a whole bunch of conversation here that I have not been party to. But we are going to record an episode today with Star Wars Cop. We'll cover some of what we already talked about. We're going to get into some other stuff. See what makes him tick. What's his favorite Star Wars collectible? What's his favorite helmet for riding a bicycle? I don't know. We'll see where it goes. That will air not today. Maybe we'll put it on Sunday and give us something to look forward to. But it has been a blast. It always is. This was a long one.
It was.
An hour and a
fun.
half. Yeah, and I got word from Jerry that you passed his test.
Yay.
I don't know. I don't actually know what that means.
I was a little nervous at the beginning, not going to lie. It's been a while since I've done any radio, but
yeah, apparently Jerry might replace me with you.
I'd highly doubt that.
I think we may have just lost everybody. Low power mode. Yeah, I think we lost connection. Oh no, we're back. My phone decided to tell me, hey, your battery's going to die. I don't know why it tells me that. It should just die. Or not.
I appreciate the warning.
All right, we're out.
10, 9.
Have a great day, everyone.
7,
See you later.
6, bye. 5, 4, 3.
And I feel obligated to wait till it counts down all the way.
1, 0.